This is Dads and Dunks, your To The Point Wolves Talk podcast. I'm Tom.
And I'm Josh.
All right, well, we got big news, so that's why we're back. We took a break. We took it easy for a while, just licked our wounds after the season, did a post-mortem, and actually got busy because we're dads and had work things happening too. But we're back. So, Josh, what happened? Fill us in.
First of all, happy summer. It's been beautiful out, so that's awesome. We've got a 5-month-old and a 3-year-old, and the 3-year-old is not really sleeping very well, so that's awesome. But we are jumping on because, first of all, there was a Julius trade, which was really like a salary dump. But then we've got the LaMelo news, Naz going out. I mean, Mike Conori is going to the Portland Trailblazers. So we really thought we should just talk about these things. A lot of podcasts have been speculating. Well, the stuff happened, so now we can actually talk about it. So for like a zoom out, 10,000 foot level, a few days ago, before the draft, the Wolves traded Julius Randle and the 28th pick to the Brooklyn Nets for the 33rd pick. And the Chicago Bulls were involved because the Nets sent Claxton to the Bulls. The Bulls technically sent us, is it Mo Guerre, who was being waived. And so it was looked at as a way to dump Julius Randle's salary. You go back in the draft 5 spots to offload his contract. But then at the very end of the second night of the draft, which was what is today? Today's Thursday. So it's Wednesday night. Shams jumps on and says, "Oh, there's talks of LaMelo, and it sounds like the Raptors and the Wolves are involved." Well, in this morning, I get a text from Tom that just says "wild," and I'm like, what? What's wild? He's like, "Naz is gone," and so I jumped on Twitter, and so basically the Wolves got LaMelo Ball and Josh Green to make the salaries match, and then we gave Naz to the Hornets. We gave the Hornets 3 swaps, but they're actually second swaps. One of them is a true swap, 2 are not really.
The swaps don't matter.
I don't think they matter. I've been listening to some people think they do. I don't really think they do.
They're wrong. The swaps don't matter. Just don't worry about it. It looks like so much more when you add them. They're like all these swaps and picks, and it is a lot. Okay, I'll back to you in a second. But I just they don't matter. If we have a top 5 pick, one of them's top 5, and then we swap with them if we get a top 5 pick. And if we get a top 5 pick, I don't know. I don't even know that I'm doing this pod anymore. I'm going to be so sad that I can't even be on here if we earn a top 5 pick in the lottery. But,
so back to what we gave up. So the Wolves gave up Naz Reid. They gave up 3 first-round swaps, 1 unprotected first-round pick. It's the 2032 pick, if I'm looking at this correctly. And then 3 second-round picks. So Naz Reid, 1 unprotected first-round pick, 3 first-round swaps, 3 second-round picks. You can go online and look. It's a 28 swap. I think it's a 29 swap. It's a 30 swap. I think it's the 32 unprotected. And then it's the 29, 30, and 32 second-round picks. That could be wrong.
Yeah, I think it's 33 unprotected, and then 32 is still frozen. I looked because I was trying to figure out when we could get more picks. And so 32 is frozen until after next season, I believe. But we do have one. It's just unavailable to us to use, which is probably good. It's saving us from ourselves that it's frozen. Otherwise, we would have traded it away by now.
And so we think about this as a separate deal, but technically it's actually all one deal. So now because we got a huge trade exception when we got rid of Julius Randle for his salary, so it was $33 million, somehow we've amalgamated all of this stuff. So it's Julius and 28 going to the Nets. It's 33 going to the Minnesota, which we took Isaiah Evans. And then we're getting Josh Green and LaMelo Ball from the Hornets. The Bulls are still getting Nick Claxton, and then the Hornets are getting Naz and those picks that we talked about. So a lot of things. First of all, Tom, what's your reaction? Then we can go through the individual pieces.
Yeah, then we can take it in order of operations. I know you
Foil.
jumped. I was like, tell me about it, and we jumped right in. But yeah, summer's been good to the Andersons. New jobs have been busy, but we're excited that it's summer. Summer vacation is good, and we get lots of family time in the summer. But so this was wild news. It's oh hey, it's on my phone all day, just blowing up. I was at work, and it's hey, just give me a minute. I have 12 text messages from people about this that I need to respond to. Initial thoughts was I talked about this before when my kids were little. It's Daniel Tiger, 2 feelings at the same time. It's I'm excited and just I can't believe what the future could be if it works out, and also sad for Naz Naz because he's obviously a fan favorite, and I love Naz, and I
Yep.
will keep my Naz memorabilia. I won't be getting rid of it anytime soon. I'm glad I don't have a Naz Reid tattoo, but that was maybe a little too
Mm,
far for me. But a little sad, but excited. And they gave up a lot. It looks like a lot, but man, does it fill a hole. And I'm mostly excited. I know people were down. I was talking to people who were like, "Why would we do this? Why would the Wolves do that?" There's been a lot of negativity. A lot of the grades from folks on ESPN, I know you were tweeting about this today, were like giving it like a D minus trade or something. I'm like, what?
a lot of
We
people
need
gave it bad grades.
LaMelo fills so many holes, and there's risk to making the trade. There's risk to making any trade that we would have made, and there was a lot of risk to just staying where we were too. So I don't know. I'm feeling pretty good about it. How about you?
Yeah, I think when we first dumped Julius and we only moved back 5 spots, I thought that was a really good trade. I know people are like, "You didn't get anything, you just gave up Julius," but, like, I think that's a addition by subtraction. I mean, they talked about the moodiness. He's the only guy who didn't show up and do, like, exit interviews on the team. Felt like he was just a black hole. And we talked about how his three-point shooting was great at the beginning of the year. It fell off. He ended up shooting 31% from 3. It just wasn't a good fit. The offense kinda ground to a halt. So I was excited to get rid of him. Hey, what can we do? We have the mid-level, we've got money, we can be flexible. And then when we got LaMelo, I don't know, I'm really excited. We'll talk about the downsides, but to your point, like, we really needed a point guard. All these guys were talking like Ja Morant. Ugh, like, I'd rather have LaMelo Ball than Ja Morant. And then even, like, people talking about Giannis. I mean, yeah, Giannis is great, but, like, we'd have to give up so much more than what we gave up for LaMelo, and I don't even like, you still have a point guard hole, and yeah, Giannis is old, whatever, we can talk about it a little bit, but I was very excited. The picks, we could talk about those too, but overall, like, I'm really excited. I'm LaMelo's gotta be careful driving like that in the winter, because like, ice is real, but I don't know, I think this would be a really fun offense. Like, I just said, like, I think we're gonna be, like, one of the best league pass team. But yeah, I'm really excited about it.
Can
What do you
part of
think
his
about losing?
deal can part of his deal be that he has to have a driver?
I mean, I hope so. All these guys should
Oh
have
my god.
drivers.
So
How do you
I
feel
will
about
go.
Julius?
Yes, let's rewind because when we had got rid of Julius in a salary dump or what we thought was
Yeah,
a salary dump, and then we moved from 28 to 33. Context to that, a lot of people were texting me, well, man, we didn't get anything for him. And I agree in hindsight, obviously, the cat trade for Julius that we had to salary dump and a ruptured Achilles for Dante wasn't a good fit. And we
yeah.
get Berenger, we could basically just get Berenger and that's it for this season. And so I get why people were down on it, but in the moment, for what we had to do, that was the best case scenario. And to move from 28 to 33, 33 is cheaper. You get basically the same caliber of person. You can sign him for 1.5 million instead of 3 million on a contract for a second rounder. So I don't think that was a big deal. We weren't going to get a stud at 28 anyway. Maybe if we had still had 21, which we had lost out on to 28, it would have been different. But I think that was best case scenario to salary dump it. And then all of a sudden, never mind. It's not a salary dump. It's basically Julius Randle and Naz Reid and some picks out the door for LaMelo Ball. And for those who haven't watched LaMelo Ball, because Charlotte's not generally on national television because they
Good league
haven't
pass
been
team.
very good. Man, he's an exciting player. I would watch his highlights and start getting excited about the way he passes the ball. But we'll get there in a little bit. But Julius, he had to go. It was a good salary dump. It was a good move. We had to, and then turns out it wasn't just a salary dump in the end. And the deal is not done. And so more teams could still
That's a
tack
good
on,
point.
and we could do more trades. We could still shift a few more pieces around. I don't know if they will. I kind of like the lineup. It feels like we need a power forward still, but Jaden could slide in there, and then maybe we get a little more backup help if Io's starting at like the 3 spot or something too. But
I honestly love
yeah.
that lineup. I mean, I think about the Knicks just won the championship. The Knicks had a center, Cat. They had a point guard, Brunson, and they just played like a bunch of wings. I guess you could say OG Anunoby's a power forward, but like, is OG Anunoby like really that different than? I mean, he's probably a little bit thicker, but a little bit shorter than Jaden. But Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, like, okay, Anthony Edwards, Ayo Dosunmu, Jaden McDaniels, like, it's kind of similar. And you've got TJ coming off the bench. I don't know. I'm excited about like maybe having more like wings and guards. I think that's the way the NBA
And
is moving.
yeah, and LaMelo Ball is like 6'8". So he's not a great defender, and that's fine, but he's 6'8". He's not small.
Yeah,
Ant and McDaniels and Gobert, that's reasonable. Desumu, they're not a tiny lineup by any means. I know
yeah.
there's like another power forward might be nice, another to pick up another piece. We don't have a lot of money left to play with. I think we have that almost $6 million
Taxpayer mid level.
exception that we can play with to get another bench piece in if we want. But yeah, I don't think they're going to move off Dante. It sounds like they're going to try to keep him around for another season, but who knows what they'll do.
Yeah,
I think keeping him around makes sense because they'll have his bird rights and they can sign him again for a little more than other teams if they need to, or trade him away with those. And I think that's your flexibility. So when we don't have a lot of draft picks, but you have all of these players under contract for at least another 3 years,
yeah,
which is awesome. So after next year, if you think Berenjay is ready, you can offload Gobert for some picks. Or if you think you need Dante's back and you want Gobert and Desumu out the door for picks and a awesome stud power forward, like go for it. I don't know. I think we don't have assets in terms of picks, but we do have serious assets in terms of talent and locked up on contracts for our team. And so, yeah, we gave up a lot. We don't have a lot left to play with, but we do have people. We do have a lot of talent on this team now, and the talent level jumped tremendously. I love Naz. I'm sad about Naz. But Naz was a really great six man, and LaMelo Ball's ceiling is really, really high.
I mean, so I love what you said there at the end because I think about this like if I was a Hornets fan, I'd be like, wait, what? Like we traded our all-star point guard who's 24, who's signed for 3 years. He's making good money, but he's making like the same money as Austin Reeves. He's not making the money that Ant is. If you got all NBA votes and you got back, and I love Naz Reid, but you got back a guy who was, sixth man of the year, who's actually never started, and you got back one for sure unprotected first round pick, seconds, meh, some swaps. Like, I feel like I'd be really disappointed. Like, I feel like Jaden is probably thought of as a worse player than LaMelo. But like, if we got that version back for like Jaden McDaniels, I'd be like, we got one first round pick and like a guy who's like a bench player. Again, I think Nas is great, but I don't know. I'd be disappointed. It's like I feel like it's a good trade for us. Yeah, things could go poorly. But like think about all the packages for like what people wanted for Giannis and all this stuff they're talking about for Jaylen Brown. Like, I don't know. I think LaMelo fits a position that we really need help with. I think he plays a style, at least offensively, that really aligns with I think how we should be playing basketball. Um, I think it's a great fit. Like he's way better than John Morant. He's way younger than Kyrie Irving. And if Kyrie has a good year, his contract next year will be way bigger than LaMelo's. There are some concerns with LaMelo, right? Like he doesn't play defense. He gets hurt a lot. He might not make the best decisions. Like he's a bit of a character, but I don't know. If you squint, a tall point guard who's a great passer, who can shoot from deep, who's a really great connector, like I see him as like not quite as good, a little bit more hectic, but maybe more talented than Tyrese Halliburton. Like Tyrese Halliburton is better, right? But Tyrese Halliburton is also coming off an Achilles injury. I don't know, but like I just think they're very similar. Like if you told me you could get Tyrese Halliburton for Nas and a first round pick, I know there's seconds and swaps, but I don't know. I think it's a gamble, but it's a gamble that I'm like very excited for the Wolves to take.
It's fun to be the top story. It's fun to be in the playoffs. It's fun to have excitement around your team because for so long we did not. And to the turnovers, to his durability, to his usage, he's played less minutes, but I think we have people. I don't think you need to play him 35 minutes a game. I think you play him 30 minutes a game. I think that's fine. There's plenty of other people. We have Desumu, we have Ant, we have TJ, other people who can fill in there. His turnovers have gone down, his turnover percentage. So just looking at cleaning the glass, it was 3 years ago, 13.6%, then 12.4, then 12.1 post All-Star break. He was playing a lot better, and that's why they made a little run. They run they did is because he calmed down a little bit on the turnovers. So quite a few turnovers, but his assist percentage is amazing. So his assists are so much higher than Kyrie's actually, but his turnovers are
Yeah.
also higher. So he's making
Mm.
amazing plays. And I think the energy part is what I love because when we talked
Yeah.
about this before, when the Wolves are rolling and they have energy, they feel unstoppable. And he has that same ant level confidence that like sometimes it's not going to go well, but most of the time it actually does. And when they start to roll, he can rattle off, man. If you're going to double ant, he can rattle off threes. He like was second in made threes or something ridiculous this year. So he's going to shoot a ton of them. He's going to make like 37, 38%. So he's not over 40, but he's going to hit threes on you and you're going to like be like, do we keep doubling Ant and letting him torch us? And Ant's
Yeah.
going to start getting better looks. Like we needed to take pressure off Ant. To your point from our last pod and some other pods, like it always looks so hard for Ant to get a shot, right?
Yeah.
Like talk
Yeah.
about what this does for him now.
Oh my gosh. I do want to talk about that. One of the questions I had for you was, who does LaMelo help most on the Wolves roster? Do you
Rudy
think it's
Gobert.
Ant? Okay, so I also think it's Rudy Gobert. Tell me why you think it's Rudy Gobert.
The just watch his highlights in the lob passes, even just like no look lobs, running a short roll, actually like running a pick and roll with Rudy, running other actions, being able to do like a no look lob pass. I mean, the things that the little he does a touch lob pass so well, and that's the
Yeah.
only thing that Rudy can handle.
Yeah.
And he's gonna know that, and he's gonna get him the ball. I'm excited to see. He hasn't had anybody who can play off of him like that. It's always like, here's Rudy, dribble handoff, get out of the way. And even if he's hiding in the dunker spot, he can break down a defense, get into the lane. They'll start putting people in a blender. I think other people will be able to find Rudy too, but they're gonna have to one of our questions or one of the things we want to talk about is offensively what they need to do a little differently. They're gonna have to integrate Rudy Gobert into some of that, but he hasn't had a point guard to do that with. He's never
Yeah.
had one here that's done that for him. So I think Rudy's gonna be happier offensively, and a happier offensive Rudy does translate into a more confident defensive Rudy sometimes. And he's gonna have to do a little more defensively potentially with LaMelo around. But I think that if LaMelo's given him some love on the offensive end, I think he'll be
Yeah.
okay with it.
I agree. I mean, again, people should watch some Hornets highlights. They played the Spurs a couple times on Amazon Prime. If you have Amazon, you can go look at the old games. Like, they were really fun, and LaMelo had some really creative offensive possessions with Wemby in the paint. He's got an amazing ability to hit open man. He is so good at breaking down the defense. He does take not necessarily like the greatest shot selection, but he like, how do I say this? It's not always selfish. You know, like if there's an open guy in a spot where they can hit it, like he'll pass the ball. He does take some like weird one-legged threes. I think Chris Finch might pull his hair out, but I also think that maybe that might get toned down a little bit when like you're playing with Ant, who's, I mean, hopefully LaMelo knows Ant is better than him. But I think he's really gonna have an impact with Rudy, and they really like play off each other well. Like LaMelo's strengths on offense, I think, can really help Rudy, where offense is Rudy's like deficiency. Whereas Rudy's so good defensively, and I think he can really help cover up some of the areas that LaMelo's not very good at on defense. I think to your point, the great thing is like he's 6'8", where I mean, before we're trying to hide Mike Conley, who is, 6 foot nothing. I think you can play LaMelo on somebody who's maybe like the worst offensive player on the other team, regardless of how tall or small they are, because he's a point guard who's 6'8". Like you can hide him in that way. I'm really excited to see him get Rudy involved. And even the thing too is like you have to know where Rudy is, because I don't know, some of those Ant and Julius lobs, like they were going to the rafters. Like LaMelo's not going to miss that. And so I think you're going to have to pay more attention to Rudy, which gives everybody else more space. I think there's going to be better spacing. I do think the second player is probably Ant, who's most helped by LaMelo, because to your point, if Chris Finch runs pick and roll with LaMelo and with Rudy, if the defense collapses, like an Ant's out there in the slot, like he's going to hit that catch and shoot three. Or if the defense is, tilted or moving because of what LaMelo and Rudy are doing, like Ant can attack that from the second side. I think Ant's going to get some better shots. I think there's going to be more spacing. I'm really excited for the offense, and I think pairing LaMelo with a rim protector like Rudy is going to really like cover up some of those defensive deficiencies.
And to your point, if they swing the ball, Io's a good 3-point shooter. He's
Yeah.
not a create your own shot guy, but LaMelo Ball is.
Well,
And
and I,
so
I think too about like, okay, we lost to the Spurs for a number of reasons, but one of them was like, I just don't think we like hit enough threes. Okay, well, you could conceivably have a lineup of like maybe Rudy's playing the 5, right? But you could have some combination of Ant, LaMelo, Io. If DDV is back by then, I mean, Jaden's not the best 3-point shooter, but he's a lot better than having like a Julius Randle or a Rudy. Like, you could put a bunch of shooters out there. I mean, Isaiah Evans maybe someday. So I think it's also like, okay, if we're in the West, which maybe we'll be in the East, hopefully, but like, are you going to beat the Thunder and the Spurs like playing their way, or like do you need to play a different way? And I think this is an opportunity to be like, all right, space and pace, we're gonna hit threes. We've still got a rim protector. Like, I think it's a really interesting way to construct a team, almost like zigging when they're zagging. And so I'm excited to see what comes out of that.
Yeah, and I mean, LaMelo Ball, he's about 37, 38% three-point shooter. He's 44% from the corners. It's like
Well,
you
and if he didn't take so many terrible threes, like I got to imagine that would be like 2 to 3 percentage points higher.
yeah, and the fact that he has that much volume, though, they're good. You have to come out and play against him out there, and the fact that you also have Anthony Edwards on the floor means he's going to get better. He's going to get better looks too,
Yeah.
because people aren't just going to be leaving Anthony Edwards. So I think he's going to love playing with Anthony Edwards. I think those
I
two
think
are
they're
going to
gonna
have a.
love playing with each other.
I think they're going to have a blast, and I'm going to have a blast watching it.
I do totally agree. Like, isn't LaMelo have like one of the highest selling jerseys ever since he's been in the NBA? Like, there's all these people who love LaMelo, and I'll be honest, I've always kind of been like a little anti LaMelo because I feel like Ant should have got Rookie of the Year that first year. LaMelo played 51 games, definitely started off hotter than Ant, but Ant definitely like turned it on at the end and played more. And I'm an Ant homer, right? I thought he should have got it. So I've always been like, well, he's not a winning player, all these things. But I also think about like context. Like, we had Karl Anthony Towns. He didn't have somebody like that on his team. And then we made this big trade to get Rudy so Ant could get these reps to become like a very much more of a finished product, a winning player, get these playoff reps. And if LaMelo would have had that same opportunity, maybe he would have shown some of that growth. I don't know, but I'm excited to see it. I'm really excited. I think we're going to be like an awesome league pass team. I think we're going to be really fun to watch. I think Rudy's going to help with some of those defensive deficiencies. Um, but LaMelo's never played with a guy like Rudy or Ant, and Ant and Rudy have never played with a guy like LaMelo. I think it's going to be fun.
I do too. Yeah, the jerseys I looked at, I think we have we will have two players in the top 15 in jersey sales on our team. And the Lakers are the only other team. So we just gotta have our two players beat the Lakers top two players, which is tough. Lakers are a global team too. So I think that's saying something in terms of popularity of players. I was never a huge LaMelo fan. But now you're ours, and so you're in. I'm gonna welcome him with open arms.
So are
And
you going to get a LaMelo Ball jersey?
I will bet at some point my kids will want a LaMelo Ball jersey, and so then I will probably also probably get one just to also get one with them because it's fun to wear the same jersey as my kids. But I probably won't get one just for me because I don't need one just yet, but I will bet at some point I own a LaMelo Ball jersey.
We are running a poll on Twitter, and the majority of folks between yes, no, and show me the results, the majority say yes, they are getting a Timberwolves LaMelo Ball jersey.
Ooh, which one? The blue?
We didn't get, you can only ask like 4 questions. We didn't get into
Well,
what color they're getting.
how about you? If you were to get one, what color would you get?
Man, which one would I get? The black or the blue, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to see what it
Those,
looks like, you know? Like, I've seen like the model, but like, what does it look like on the TV? What does it look like in person? I don't
those
know. We'll
jerseys
figure
are
it
nice.
out. Um, okay. I didn't prep you for this, but if you had to think about like the best point guards in the NBA, like where roughly would you rank LaMelo? We could just go. So I would say I think Luka's a point guard. I think Luka's better.
Okay.
Do you count SGA as a point guard?
Yeah.
Okay, I would say SGA is better. Would you say Brunson is better?
He just
Kind of
won a
have to. He just
title,
won the
so
championship.
yeah. I mean, now I do. Yeah. If you would have asked me like 2 years ago, I could. But oh shit! I just dropped my phone. Yeah.
I would also say that Cade Cunningham is better. I would also say that Tyrese Halliburton is better. But then, like, I mean, do you consider Steph Curry a point guard? I mean, he definitely has been a better player overall. But like right now, who would you want? I don't know. Like your guy Tyrese Maxey, um, De'Aaron Fox, Dylan Harper. I've got Garland. I was thinking like if you consider Harden a point guard, like I don't know. I think I'd take LaMelo over those guys. Maybe not Maxey. I don't know. Maybe though.
I would not take him over Maxey only because I'd like absolutely love Tyrese
I know
Maxey.
you do.
And but Fox, yeah, I mean, I think we kind of saw what
Probably better.
happened in the playoffs with
Yeah,
Fox, and especially with his contract. So I guess if you're doing like value of contract too,
that's a good point.
Garland also has been hurt a lot, and he's
He's
smaller.
small.
He's
Yeah,
small, which doesn't hold up well, as we've seen too. Harper, man, on a really good team. Yeah, I mean he's right in the mix there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have Luca, SGA, Brunson, Cade, and then I would put, and then you have Tyrese, and then so like in that Maxi category, yeah, like
that's what I
I'd put
think.
him
Yeah.
right there. I
I mean,
think the only
he
thing
was an
holding
all
him
star
back,
this past year, and he got
the
all
only,
NBA votes.
the only thing holding him back has been durability. And so if we want to talk a little bit for people who don't know sort of his durability concerns too, but
Yeah.
other than that, when he's playing, he's electric and he's a really, really good player.
And I will say the Wolves are known for having like the best medical sports performance team. So if anything, like, hopefully Mayo Clinic Square can have a positive impact on getting LaMelo healthier. Maybe it's playing less minutes. Maybe it's some different routines. Maybe it's just like, I don't know, getting over a few fluke seasons. Because also like he has missed a ton of games and he has had real injuries. But I don't know. I remember when SGA, when the Thunder sucked, like he would miss a ton of games. And it was like, like maybe you don't come back. And I kind of feel like that's part of it with LaMelo too, is like, all right, we're at the bottom of the East. Like, do we really rush this guy back? Like, I don't know, maybe we just get a better pick. Like the tanking is real. We'll see, but I think like that's probably the thing that I think could most impact this trade to become negative for the Wolves is like if he's just not available. He's so talented. I think he really fits with the roster. My biggest concern is durability, character, and then defense, but it's probably his ability to like play games. Like, yeah, if he plays 40 games next year, like well, that sucks. That's not great. Um, I don't know, but like I also say this, like there's no player that we could have traded for that doesn't have some concerns. Like Giannis is old, he's got a huge contract. Like, would he resign with us? He's ball down. Like, how does that work with Ant? John Morant, way more character concerns, can't shoot, not as big. Like Kyrie, old, gonna get a big contract. Like everybody has concerns. LaMelo's young. LaMelo's ascending. He fits really well with what we need. Again, I think you could squint and you could see Tyrese Halliburton. And I thought that would always been like the ideal backcourt mate for Ant. So I don't know. I'm pretty excited about this trade.
He, to come back to cleaning the glass. So points per possession, points per 100 possessions. When he's out there, they're in the 99th percentile. He is,
Did they have like a historic offense last year in Charlotte? I thought I
yeah,
read that somewhere that like
yeah. And
outside of like Jokic teams, it's like unbelievable.
Con Knipple helped just knocking down big shots, but effective field goal percentage, 98th percentile. Offense, what percentage of team possessions ended in a turnover. I mean, they just they just
And
were
Con
really,
Knipple is
really
really
good.
good. He's a great shooter. Do you think he's better than DDV? Do you think he's markedly better than Anthony Edwards? Like, I think we have good shooters too.
Yeah, Anthony Edwards is amazing. He's an amazing shooter. People forget how good of just a pure 3-point shooter he is, because he's got so much more in his bag now.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, point differential when he's on the floor, it's like a 10+ 10 point differential when LaMelo is on the floor. Imagining
Yeah.
the offensive firepower with him and Ant, and then Jaden continues to elevate his game too, and Io can knock down shots and get downhill, and hopefully TJ can have some punch off the bench still. And the bench depth is something to think about, maybe a little bit of a concern now, but
Yeah.
especially with Io starting, I think ideally it would have been great to have Io coming in as like a Sixth-Man-of-the-Year candidate, in my opinion, if we were able to make another move and get somebody else still to slide into a power forward spot and move Io to the six and have Jaden play the three. But I don't know that that's happening this year, but it could happen next year. They'll have flexibility next year to make that happen, and they're under contract for 3 years. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they get something like that done. There's not a lot of players left to be able to do that. But maybe
I
that
have a
they pull
wild
a rabbit out of
idea.
the hat. Yeah.
What if Shannon starts and Io's on the bench?
I that is a wild idea.
I'm not saying he's better than Io, but like, does it fit better? And then Io can come in for Ant or for LaMelo, like he's your guard sub. It's kind of like before when we had Io, DDV, and Ant. It's like they're all going to play 30-ish minutes, right? Like there's what 96 backcourt minutes. Like if you do something like that, and it's like okay, TJ and Jaden are the 3-4 in some way, shape, or form. Who knows who they're guarding? I don't know.
You're making the Britt Robson wanting Jaden McDaniels to come off the bench argument. I think that was his thing forever.
Well, I do not want Jaden to come off the bench.
No, but the argument was
I hear you. I hear you.
because of fit was like,
Yeah.
and it wasn't because he was a worse player. But
I don't know if Io would like that. I'm sure you're like, hey man, I just got paid. Like I want to start, but I don't know. Could be like I don't know. Maybe it's not right. And also like they will add some players. Also they have Josh Green. Like we got Josh Green from the Hornets. Josh Green is like a wing, decent 3-point shooter, probably better than decent 3-point shooter. I thought he was a good athlete when he was at Arizona. That's where he went to college. He played some playoff minutes for Dallas when they went to the finals a couple years ago. He's not nothing. He was in the same draft class as those guys. I think he's 24, 25. Which is funny. They have 4 guys from that draft class. They've got Ant, LaMelo, Jaden, and Josh Green. But he's making like 14, 15 million. It's an expiring contract. Maybe you can move that, or I don't know, maybe he plays some minutes. But we should also note that we did get Josh Green as well in the trade.
Yeah, and I think that's when we talk about the future. This year is going to be exciting, but it is an expiring contract, and that frees up 15 million. And then you
Yeah.
get DDV back next year. This year,
Think about that next year, man. You could have Ant, LaMelo, DDV, and Io like are your guards. I don't know. You probably actually have to play some a little bit at the 3 just because you want to give them all probably 30-ish minutes.
Yeah, or you sign and you can potentially trade because they're a good value, and you could get
That's
rid of
true.
one of them for
Yeah.
a really good power forward, especially if you think Berenjay's ready and Rudy can be out the door, and you can get just a high caliber top 10 power forward and have Berenjay in there on a cheaper deal and still have all these players. Like there are things that they can still work beyond this year. And that's why I think the handcuffing thing, when they're like, our future's over, the Wolves don't have anything to trade, or there's no picks left, or LaMelo's going to get hurt and Ant's going to leave. It's like, you are such a Minnesota sports fan. Like there's always avenues here. Like,
Well, and okay, like the sky is falling, whatever, injuries happen, it doesn't work for whatever reason. Like you could get a ton for Ant. You could get a lot for Jaden. You could get something for Berenjay. You could get something for LaMelo. You could get something for DDV. You could get something for Io. Like, yeah, you don't have a bunch of your picks, but like you could get stuff. Like, again, our assets are players now. They're not picks. Also, you said something about Rudy that I think is interesting. I think Rudy fits really well with LaMelo. I've said that. Tim Connelly talked about this 26 under core, which is basically everybody now except for Kyle Anderson, if you count him. But it's basically like DDV and Rudy are the guys who are like not in that 26 under. All these other guys are. Is there a world where like you trade Rudy this offseason for a power forward or a couple pieces, and you give Berenjay the 5 minutes? Like maybe he's not ready, but you're like, hey, he can catch lobs. He's good defensively. Like, is he ready to play 30 minutes? I don't know. Probably not. Maybe you get like a decent backup 5. But if you think like, hey, our 4 is our weakness, or we need more depth, Rudy doesn't fit our timeline. He still has some value. And if they really truly believe in Berenjay like they say they do, like we see a report that he's untouchable. I don't think he's untouchable. I think they just don't want to trade him. But if he's truly like that highly thought of, I mean, I don't know how many years until you give him 20 plus minutes a game. Like, I don't know. I think they might explore that avenue. Maybe I'm crazy. Again, I think Rudy fits really well with LaMelo, and he really covers up some defensive deficiencies. And they might need like that old man voice in the locker room. But I think it's the chip that I would be most willing to flip that would get you something pretty significant. Like, you could trade him to Dallas for PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford. Or I think those salaries would match. Or you could trade him. I don't know, I'm trying to think. I mean, well, Portland wouldn't want him because they have Donovan Clingan, but salary matches up with Jeremy Grant. I don't know. He's better than Jeremy Grant, but like, I don't know. Like, would you trade Rudy if you could get like a good power forward and like another piece, or like a good power forward and a pick?
I would. It would be risky this year in terms of a step back, but they would be able to play together longer this year. I think that they won't do it because Rudy is probably required
Too
this year
valuable.
because Berenjay is so young that I
Yeah.
don't think they think he's ready just yet. I bet by next year they are, and they could offload Rudy. I just hope Rudy has another really good season because you want to sell high and not
I
sell a
know.
depreciating asset. And so that's why I thought Rudy would be out the door and Naz would stay. And then you would have this like, do we have to get another backup center or get another center? Instead, it was now power forwards are out and we got to look for another power forward. So I thought it would be
You thought it would be Rudy in the
100%
trade?
would be Rudy in the trade. Yeah.
I don't know if you saw John Krasinski reported that like, I guess the Wolves offered Rudy or somehow he was talked about and the Hornets wanted Nas over Rudy.
They needed a player like Nas, it seems
Yeah.
like, and he's exciting. It'll be another fan favorite. I think when you lose a player who sells that many jerseys, who fills up your arena too, that's not going to be Rudy, but it will be Nas will fill that hole a little bit too. So I think from
Yeah.
basketball fit it makes sense, but I also think from a fandom fit, you have a
Oh, yeah,
player
they'd be so pissed if they got Rudy. I mean, like, LaMelo's their guy, and that I think Rudy's great, but he's very polarizing. It's easy to, like, dismiss him, but they'd be like, "What? This guy's 10 years older. He makes almost as much money, can't catch a ball." Like, yeah, I could see them losing their minds. Nas is a fun player. But I also think that goes back to, like, okay, Conley talks about this under 26 core, right? And a lot of people think about it as, like, if you're thinking about your top three, it was Ant, it was Jaden, it was Nas. Well, now it's Ant, LaMelo, Jaden, like, isn't that significantly more talented? Again, no disrespect to Naz Reid, like, undrafted free agent, became sixth man of the year, and if he didn't develop, we couldn't have gotten LaMelo Ball. So, like, again, he was awesome. I love Nas. None of this is to, like, throw shade on Nas, but I don't think you can say that, like, LaMelo's more talented than him, and he's
he
younger.
he is. And his contract isn't astronomical. He's on a bigger
No.
contract, but it's a very similar contract that you would have had with Ja, Kyrie, and then like you said, Kyrie would need a new deal if he played well. And we got all this young core is locked up, all of them for three years. Even Berenjay's got another 3 years on his deal, and he's super cheap. So I think that we figured out that the second timeline starts today.
Dude.
This is officially the second timeline. They're not messing around anymore. Ant's second timeline and the team's second timeline for him is now. Because we were wondering, when's it going to be? Are they going to slow play it? Is it going to be a little bit of a step back this year?
Yeah.
Are they going to take a big swing and then have to rebuild? Like, what's it going to look like? It's now. This is this under 26 core that's here for another 3 years, barring anything wild that happens, which is exciting to me.
Also, the Thunder and the Spurs are amazing. I'm not saying we're at their level yet. I think we might be played different, and so that might be, like, an interesting, way to try to combat their awesomeness. But if we're in the East, I mean, again, the Knicks just won the championship, so, like, the Knicks are awesome. Boston is really good, but, like, I think we'd be in the mix for the number 1 or number 2 seed in the East with this roster.
Where do you think we fit in the West? Because this is the thing when you were talking about how many games, if he plays 40 games, it's a bummer. What if he plays 55 games and we're the 4 seed or 5 seed and then they're healthy for the playoffs? I think that's fine. Obviously, a higher seed is better, but like
Yeah. I
I
mean,
think
you're
this team is better. Is this team not better on paper than our team last year that lost, especially without DDV at the end with an injured Ant? This team seems better to me.
I think this team is probably better. Um, it's not as I mean, I guess the end of the season, yes. It's not as deep, and I think so much of the NBA now is, like, a war of attrition. So I am a little bit concerned about that, but they're also betting on, like, TJ developing, Baron J developing.
Bones developing.
Do you think Bones will be back? Do you think they'll keep him?
I don't know. Where else is he going to go?
I hope he's back. I think it would be nice to have him, and I think it'd be nice to have Clark back because we need some, like, defensive guard presence for certain matchups. I hope Slow-Mo's back to be, like, a leader. I wonder if they'll bring Mike Conley back, like,
I
on,
bet
like, a
they will
minimum
on a
contract.
minimum. They have so little money to bring him back and have him play when someone's hurt. He'll be fresh. let him get in every now and then, have him be a
Maybe
coach
be a
out
leader for
there,
LaMelo.
a veteran presence. And Bones, I hope that he's back because not that he's the end all be all for this team, but he fits what I think the play
Pace,
style is
yeah,
gonna be. I think
yeah.
the play style is gonna be really fun. The play style that we thought we would see with Naz, we're gonna see way more of that with LaMelo.
I mean, I said you could squint and LaMelo, you could see Kate or Tyrese Halliburton. Honestly, like LaMelo is like a rich man's Bones Highland. He's like
It's a good way to
bigger.
put
I
it.
mean, he's better. He's a better shoot. I mean, he's just they play very similar. They're both kind of hectic, herky jerky, but like LaMelo's better.
Yeah, and bigger, better passer because partially because he's bigger, go over people, around people, his length,
Yeah,
just the eyes in the back of his head, stuff that he can do. But the microwave scoring, the pace, the
yeah.
energy definitely matches.
Like if you subbed out LaMelo and you brought in Bones, like you'd be basically playing the same exact style of basketball.
Yeah. Because
It's
we've
also
had
cool
so
they
many
did.
players. Go ahead. I was gonna say we've had so many players that we've had to fit that play differently depending on the lineup with Julius and
Yeah,
then with Naz and Rudy and like the combinations of players and it's Ant and then it's Bones and then you're bringing in Conley who's plays slow and it just there was always a different feel where a few years ago we knew when we had those guys coming off the bench when it was Naz and Nikhil and we knew that it was like this is gonna be energy, this is gonna be pace, this is gonna
yep,
be fun and DDV, and we haven't had that since where it's like there's like a cohesive identity off the bench, but it kind of feels like with this team it might be a full like cohesive team. Like the play style might not change much at all depending
that's
on
a
who
good
you're
point.
throwing in there.
I like that. I was kind of bummed when somebody on the draft, maybe it was Brian Windhorst, was like, "Yeah, the Wolves are gonna like not go into the tax. They've done it a lot, or they're not gonna go into certain apron. They're gonna save some money." And I was like, "Oh, it's kind of a bummer. Like they raised ticket prices." And then for them to like make this trade and kind of go all in, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like I don't know. It also makes me just appreciate like the ownership and the front office. Like, hey, we're gonna keep taking bites at the apple. We're gonna take swings. You can't say that we're not trying. I don't know. I just as a fan, I appreciate that.
Yeah, 100%. The coaching, we touched on this. Anything else besides leading into a little bit of pick and roll, things that need to happen? Losing Mike and Nori is a bummer because I think he would have been helpful. Good for him getting a head coaching job. Didn't touch on that at all. It's not our biggest story, but I do want to mention that. And we did have a draft, so we did get a player that could help us down the line too. So it's wild how much happened. And so just didn't know if there's a couple other things that we wanted to touch on quick too before we start to
I mean,
wrap. And we don't have to wrap yet because we can just stay all night. But I wanted to make sure we got everything in.
I, I do think that Finch has to run more pick and roll. I just think when you've got LaMelo and Rudy, like it just makes a ton of sense. I mean, just see how they like run lineups. That'll be interesting to see. Also, like because we don't have a lot of assets, like do they play the young guys? Like, does Isaiah Evans get minutes? That's the 33rd pick out of Duke. He's like a 6'6" ish 3-point shooter. Not a great athlete, pretty skinny, similar like not as athletic, but like similar size to Corey Brewer. Um, but not a great athlete. Really good shooter. That's his like NBA skill. Like, does he get minutes? Like, does Shannon get more minutes? Do they really give J like the backup Rudy minutes? And does he play a lot when Rudy's in foul trouble or if he's missing some games? Is there anybody else that they could like? Does Rocco Zakarski get developed? Because like you just don't have a lot of picks. So like the guys on the team, like you gotta like does Julian Phillips get better? I don't know. I'll be interested to see that.
And Julian Phillips, when he came out as just a really strong defender, never really developed an offensive game, but that was like what he was hanging his hat
Huh.
on. And
Yeah.
so that sounds good to me for
It's a
someone
useful skill.
who can play some defense on a team that needs a little bit of defense off the bench. They're going to have to have their young players step up and he's going to have to play them. TJ Shannon's going to have to play. J has to play minutes. We just
Yeah.
lost our two power forwards. He has to play when Rudy's not out there. Otherwise, who else is out there? He has to be the guy. So he has to get significant minutes.
Rocco.
And yeah, and it'd be fun to have Rocco up. I'd like to see him play a little bit, just to see the 7-3 3-point shooting phenom that is Rocco Zakarski.
I mean, I don't know. You could play a worse guy against Wemby. Yeah, it's a bummer about Mike Inori. I thought he was a great assistant coach. I was surprised that he stayed with us as long as he did. He was always interviewing, and I kind of thought he would have got a different job, but I wish him well. I hope he has a great stint in Portland. They're a fun young team. Be interesting to see who they replace him with on the staff. If they bring somebody in that's like notable, if they're like an offensive specialist or defensive, or like kind of what they hang their hat on. But yeah, I'm really excited. I think the Wolves are going to make more moves. I don't know if they'll be huge moves. Again, maybe they trade Rudy. It's I don't know. It's probably unlikely, but he doesn't fit in the under 26 core. So yeah, I'm excited to see what moves they make, how they round with this roster. But I would say I'm excited about the trade. I'm excited about this team. I think we're gonna have a really great offense. Hopefully Rudy or Berenger or whoever can like anchor a. I don't know, like what should the goal be, like a top 10-ish defense? I think that's still like fair to be a goal. Jaden's a good defender. Io's a good defender. Rudy's great. Ant's not bad. LaMelo's
10th
big.
10th best defense, and this offense is going to be fun if they're healthy. I'm a top 5 offense.
Dude, top 2 offense.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go, but I didn't want to be hyperbolic.
I mean, if you trade for LaMelo, you give up all this stuff. You have Ant and LaMelo. You have these other guys who are not bad offensive players. Like, I don't know, if we weren't a top 3 offense, wouldn't that be kind of a bummer? Because the defense is going to slip, I would assume. Not that Julius was like a great defender and Naz was a great defender. So maybe the defense should still be really good. I don't know. Like,
I don't want to
is
belabor.
LaMelo a worse defender than Julius Randle? Probably.
I don't want to belabor the point, but that's been a lot of the talking heads, the national talking heads, that we lost a lot of defense with Julius and Naz, and I just think they didn't watch Timberwolves games.
I did see something where a lot of people are talking about like Naz is going to be like the starting center for the Hornets. I'm like, well, they have like Moussa Diabate, they've got Kalkbrenner, they just drafted that Steinbeck kid or Steinbach out of Washington, but like, have you seen Naz? Like, Naz is not a center. Naz is like more of a 3 than a 5. He's a 4. I mean, he's a power forward, but yeah, I don't know if people really do watch the Wolves. I think that's a good point. Naz is a great player. I think he'll add some spark. I'm going to miss him. The Naz Reid towels, 2 words, Naz Reid. The developmental story is awesome, but you turned him into LaMelo Ball. Like, I think that's great. I'm really excited.
Yeah. Sad to see him go. Love Naz Reid. Love you, but
Love Naz Reid.
it's the next chapter, and I'm excited about it. But if that's
Do you
all
think
we can
LeVar
wrap.
Ball will go to games? Do you think LeVar Ball is going to be like courtside?
Yes, I do. And
Are you going to get a big, what is it, big baller? Are you going to get a big baller brand shirt?
I'm not. No.
Yeah, I probably won't either.
I'm not doing that.
Okay. If you're going to get a big baller brand shirt, email us at dadsanddunks@gmail.com.
All
We
right.
wanna see
Well,
it.
you ready, Josh? Wrapping it up?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I should stop talking.
All right. This is Dads and Dunks, your To The Point Wolves Talk podcast. Follow, rate, like, subscribe, and tell a friend.
Go Wolves.
Go Wolves.